the Conscious Leadership Blueprint. I'm Dr. Kevin. Today, we will talk about how to develop a true executive mindset. There's a huge difference between showing up as a manager, as a leader, and as a true executive. And the difference is in how you manage your own mind, how you master your consciousness. Because with your thoughts, you create the world. And as you gain deeper conscious mastery, you put yourself in a position to truly influence in a way that leaves others better, that elevates your organization, creates more profit in your organization, and allows you to live life on your terms. To lead yourself first. So the Conscious Leadership Blueprint is really about establishing that executive mindset. And there's four basic fundamental factors that most executives simply don't know. In fact, most executives, even getting your MBA from Harvard, never learned this core foundation that is absolutely essential for you to lead at the highest level possible. Now, it starts with not mastering the world around you. It doesn't start with understanding how to lead an enterprise. It doesn't start with understanding how to master team dynamics. It starts with mastering yourself. Self-mastery is the most essential, fundamental quality you can have as an executive, and it begins by understanding how to turn your awareness inward, to shift your attention from the external world to the internal world, and understanding the language of the self, the personality. Because when you manage your personality, you put yourself in the true driver's seat. You put yourself in a position to stop reacting and start choosing. But otherwise, that option is not available. So where does it begin? Step number one in self-mastery begins with presence. Understanding and having the capacity to sit in this moment, right here, right now, and recognize that your ego identity and your mind will recoil against presence, because in the present moment, you put down all of the narrative that supports you in being you, right? Our brains are very hedonistic. We move towards getting gratification and validation of our self-concept. However, when you're just in the present moment, you're not pursuing that validation, that verification that you're okay. When you are present right here, right now, you start to cut through that cycle of craving and aversion. And it's in the cycle of craving and aversion that we lose our presence, but we also lose the connection with our deeper potential. So presence, the act of being right here, right now, also cuts through a deeper level of emotionality, because it cuts through the narrative that we're carrying. See, we carry this narrative about our worldview, a narrative about who we are in the world and how we bring value to the world. And when you cut through that narrative into a place of true presence, then you don't have to defend yourself against anything, because there's nothing but the present moment. There is nothing to defend yourself against. And when you're not attached to your narrative and you let go, truly let go of the burden that you carry, your emotion starts to dissipate as well, because most of the emotion that as leaders that we carry is conditional. Most of the emotion that you carry, your stress, your frustration, your guilt, your shame, your anxiety, your anger, it's all conditional, based on your mind not being in the present moment. See, when you're forward looking, for example, think about the emotion you create for yourself. When you're looking forward, sure, you can create excitement, but we also create a lot of anxiety. We create a lot of fear when our mind is not present, but it's forward looking, right? When we lose our presence and we live in the land of what ifs. And I've seen so many executives that have a natural tendency to live in that place, and they miss the present moment, and they end up creating a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, and ultimately chronic stress. And I've seen some executives who do a really good job at elevating their blood pressure and putting themselves on the pathway to heart disease and a heart attack, all because They've never trained themselves to truly be present right here, right now, in this moment. Similarly, when you're looking to the past, you create a storehouse and you carry a storehouse of emotion based on a lack of presence. What's the emotion that you carry when you're not present? If you're like most and like me, man, I can do a great job at carrying frustration or irritation or anger about something somebody said. That thing is not even happening anymore. It's only happening in my mind, but I can play that story again and again. And every time I play the story, every time I lose presence and play that story about something that did happen, I can do a great job creating anger, frustration. I can create a lot of guilt or shame for myself, not over what's happening, but over my idea about what happened. And in this way, when you're not present, you're living in a fantasy. You're not living in the reality of the moment. You're living in the projection and fantasy of the mind. When you cast forward, you create a fantasy. When you cast backward in your life and in your memory, it's nothing more than a fantasy. Memory is not truth. It's simply looking at it through the lens that you're carrying, looking at observations and events that happened through a particular lens, and that lens is distorted. Being able to cultivate your ability to be in the moment is one core pillar of executive excellence. From that place of presence, and only from a place of true, deep presence, can you develop awareness. Awareness is the other side of the spectrum. That I think of it like two ends of a bow. If you want to create momentum and moving yourself forward as an executive, you have to have extreme presence on one end and the ability to master your attention, to not be completely smitten by the latest shiny object, but bring yourself back to the here and now moment, this very moment. Because in fact, that's all there is, this here moment, right here, right now. There's nothing else. Everything else is some fabrication of our mind. All we have is this moment. And when you cultivate that ability, that mental muscle to live and to come back to this very moment, not your idea about it, not your memory of the past or your thoughts of the future, but right here, right now, then you start to cultivate a platform that will allow you to develop a deeper level of awareness, from presence to awareness. Awareness of what? There's a lot of different ways you can become aware, right? You can become aware of things external to you, like the other individual and what's going on for them, or the entire environment, the situation. But the starting point is to turn your attention in and to become aware of, in the present moment, yourself. And when we talk about ourself, I think for me, it's about the patterns, right? And to start to recognize the patterns and the actual things that are arising at any given moment in your mind, in your emotion, and in your body. Those three areas of your personality and of yourself. When you become aware of what you think, what you feel, and what you do, you open the door to less reactivity. Without awareness, your feeling will dictate and drive what you do. And when you have a certain belief set that's driving and dictating that cognitive framework that helps you find meaning in the world, the difficult thing is when you're attached to that belief set and you find things that challenge it or invalidate the belief about yourself and who you are, your self-concept, your ego. When things challenge your ego, it's going to evoke an emotion. You're going to react to that emotion. That emotion will start to drive what you do. And when you look at it, really, the emotion is nothing more than a sensation in your body. So awareness at a core level, a true executive level of awareness, is to be able to recognize and identify the emotional reactivity, the mind, the emotion, and the physical sensations as they play out in your body without reacting. Leadership is not about being comfortable. Too many leaders are driven by this need to be comfortable. And so they make decisions that don't evoke guilt. So they're always the pleaser. And when you're the pleaser, you don't feel guilt, but you're not necessarily stepping into the role you need to step into as an executive. Being an executive is not about being comfortable. It's not about feeling good. In fact, it's not about feeling at all. It's about being aware of the sensations and feelings in your body, and then behaving in a way that is intentional, which is the next step on the pathway. You move from a foundation of presence to a deep level of awareness of self, of thinking, feeling, and behaving. And then from that place, you're in a position of choice, not reactivity, not letting the emotion dictate how you show up, but truly choosing how you want to show up. And remember this core truth: your thoughts, with your thoughts and your thinking, you make the world. So when you change your thinking, you change how you feel, you change how you behave, you change it changes the world that you live in. Recognize, though, without awareness, ignorance is bliss. You make yourself right, you make the world wrong. When it doesn't work your way, you're a victim of everybody else, and they're the problem. With deep level of awareness, you recognize that it's all a product of your perception and your mental projection. So by having presence and awareness, then you're in a position to not react, but to choose how to think and then choose how to behave, regardless of how it feels. Now the question is, how do you decide what choice to make? How do you decide what behavior to enact? How do you decide what beliefs to cultivate? This comes back to the last part of this golden triangle, as I call it. And I think of it more like a bow. If you've ever been bow hunting, you see there's two ends where the string connect to the bow, and then there's one that you pull back. That's the intention. And what we're aiming for, where we're trying to align our intention with our vision. Vision is absolutely essential because it's the picture that you put in your mind's eye. It's the belief of where you want to go. It's your thinking, feeling, and your behaving in a future state. When you align your intention with your vision, you start to put yourself in the driver's seat, right? Most folks don't have clarity of their vision. They just react to what they perceive in the moment, and then they end up being tossed around by the tide of reality as they perceive it. But the reality is, and the power comes from clarity of vision. When you know the person that you're becoming, and you rehearse it and you see it in your mind's eye, when you have clarity of the organization you're creating, when you understand and see clearly the life that you are creating, the impact that you're leaving, the relationships that you are designing, when you understand that you are the one who has the power to create those based on clarity of your vision, it's ultra important then to understand what your vision is, to write it down, to draw it out, whatever form it takes. Understand your vision. And with your vision, then you have something to align your intention with. When you align your intention with your vision, it's amazing. Channels open up within your thinking. Now, this is the thing that's absolutely essential to pay attention to. Your vision must be positive, because it is with your thoughts that you create the world. So if your vision is to cause harm to somebody else, you're creating that state of mind in yourself, and you're going to find yourself suffering. If you have a positive vision to be helpful, to help people unleash their potential, to be a positive influence, when you do that, when that's your vision, you'll be amazed at how powerful it is in impacting the life you live. It starts to impact the world that you perceive. You start to see more positivity as you have a positive vision of what you want to create. Now we understand this through neuroscience, right? This isn't just some fluff. This is true neuroscience. With your thoughts, you create the world. Have clarity of your vision. Think with intention based on self-awareness and a platform of presence. With those four elements, you position yourself to be a true executive. When one of these four falls short, you're going to find yourself reacting. You're going to find yourself being a victim to the world around you, and you're not going to live your potential. But if you are determined to become the best version of yourself, it's a simple 4-step paving process. Okay, not simple, not easy. What's the process? Presence, awareness, intention, and vision. Those four together will get you to the promised land. So, pave your way forward. PAIV, presence, awareness, intention, vision. If you haven't, like now, or please subscribe, because I'm on a mission to help good performers and producers become inspired executives. And the work that we're laying out is the heart and soul of what I've seen the best executives during the course of my lifetime bring to the table. It's all written about in the new book. Check it out. Lead Yourself First, a high achiever's guide to upgrade your leadership. Check it out. Become the best version of yourself. Lead yourself first. This is Dr. Kevin saying farewell for now.